Yo, what is up, guys? Your boys out there bringing guys a video about my Metalfoes deck profile for October of 2018. This is a deck that I've been loving since Master Rule 4. I didn't quite like the deck when it was at full power in Master Rule 3 when they had like 3 Mithrilium and they were running around with like 1 Rescue Rabbit and stuff like that. I wasn't really interested in that build as well as the Ultimaya Zokin build where you just Ultimaya Zokin and like make Crystal Wing and stuff like that. I didn't really like that build, but ever since, Heavy Metalfoes Electromite, I've just been loving this deck. So let's get started with the deck profile. It's pretty standard, but there's a few changes because Electromite did go to 1. So this is more of a pure build. This is not really like throwing Pendulum Magicians and all that other stuff. This is kind of like Metalfoes, do what you do with the Metalfoes things, how they always used to play and stuff like that. So 3 Curtain Raisers. I think Curtain Raiser plus the Wild Hope is just really good because you could just pop your Wild Hope with one of your Metalfoes cards and then get a free card. Yeah, just basically that. And then Curtain Raiser, obviously, for Electromite. It's just really, really nice. And then we play the 3 Baboon. Baboon is really good with the Metalfoes. You can just fix your hands, just fix your dead hands where you have like a full Metalfoes in your hand or any of the Metalfoes cards in your hand you don't want to see in your hand. You can just put them back, get an extra card for free, and then get 2 extra monsters on field when you pop up with the Metalfoes. And just make a link to, which is the Wee Witch's Apprentice. There's not any real good link twos that can just give you advantage. I just play like Wee Witch's Apprentice just because it's a link to, it points down, left, down, right, and yeah, you can make it with the Baboon. So it's really good. You should definitely play this in a Metalfoes deck. The next card I want to play is, Apex Avian. It's really good for negation and negates, a lot of different cards, spell trap, monster effects. And it's really good because this deck doesn't have a lot of, spell and trap negation. I know you can make like Vortex and stuff like that, but there's not that much of spell and trap negations. And with like Evenly Matched becoming more popular and just like a lot of other power spells that are just really, really good, like Engage, you want to have that spell and trap card negation, so that's why I play 3 Apex Avian. And then we play the standard Mythical Beast engine. You want to play this in pretty much any Pendulum deck. This is just like a very good engine. So being able to make Electromite, summon this card and get your negates on board is just really, really nice. And then we play 3 Bismugear. Bismugear is super good, being able to pop cards as well as when this card is popped, you get a search during the end phase. It's just really, really nice. And then we play 3 Rescue Rabbit. This is a 1 card Electromite. It also gets your Metalfoes on the field. You can also use those Metalfoes for like a fusion and get Mithrilium on board, stuff like that. It's just a 1 card Electromite. That's pretty much it. And it's a 1 card rank 4 if you really need it for that. And then for our Metalfoes, yeah, the rest of our Metalfoes, we play 3 gold, 3 silver, 3 Stillin, and 3 Volt Flame for the rest of the monsters. I do not play Painful Decision in Summoner's Art. There's a really big reason why, and that is because of our boy Colossus. Thunder Dragon Colossus is just like, it's just, you don't even want to play search cards in 2018 when you have a card like this. Colossus just makes it to where you can't play any search cards. If you play a deck that searches a lot, you can't really play unless you just have something to negate, or you have like Book of Eclipse to flip them all face down. You don't really want to play search cards, and this deck can't afford to main deck, Book of Eclipse because it's not really good against a lot of matchups. So, I don't play Painful Decision. I don't play, Summoner's Art for that, reason. Then for the spells, we play Emergency Teleport just for summoning out your, Metalfoes, whatever one you need. You can't summon Volt Flame, obviously, but you can summon the other, small ones. And then we play 1 copy of Full Metalfoes Fusion. This is just for more interruptions. And I was playing like 2 counters and no fusion. But this is just really important for just interrupt your opponent on your opponent's turn. You just make Alkahai steal their monster and just like, yeah, good interruption. And then we play Button Metalfoes Fusion. This is just really good. We've seen this in Sky Striker decks. We've seen this in a lot of grass decks in the past. This card is just really, really good, and you just, get a free draw when it's in the graveyard, and you can fusion for, Mithrilium and your Alkai, so that is really, really nice. And then we play for our traps a combination, just really good card. You don't really use the first effect, you use the last effect to search a Metalfoes when this card is destroyed. It's just really, really good. And then we play the one counter because, floating effects are really, really good, especially when we have stuff like Sword Dragon that can just easily OTK you. It's just really, really nice to have something that can, stop yourself from being OTK'd, especially when your negates are not enough to stop your opponent. And then for our side deck, this is just a pretty standard side deck. This is what I side. I side 3 Mind Crush because this deck does have a very hard time evenly matched. You don't have a lot of spell and trap and negate like you do in Pendulum Magician, so you want to have something for, those decks that do play evenly matched. It's also really good against search decks like Sky Strikers, like Trick Stars, and all of those other decks. It's just really, really nice. It's also really good for hitting stuff like, Thunder Dragons. If they search the Hawk and they have Hawk in hand, you can just hit the Hawk out of their hand, and if they don't have any Thunder monsters to summon, they can't summon their Colossus. They can't summon any of the other cards. So it's really, really good to have that. And then, Book of Eclipse for the Thunder Dragon matchup. And then 3 hand traps of Bell and Ash. It's just really, really nice for the Goki matchup. And then, Red Reboot for the Altergeist matchup and True Dracos and all the other trap decks like Paleon and stuff. And then for the extra deck, we do play 1 Alkahest, 2 Mithrilium. This is just standard. You need to play 2 or more Mithrilium because you want to do the loop of, shuffling back Mithrilium, summon Mithrilium, bounce something, it goes to graveyard, you use another Mithrilium, shuffle that other Mithrilium back, and it's just really, really nice. We've seen this with, when Billy Break was still in the game, he was doing this combo, and it was just really, really nice. He played 3 and stuff like that. So Mithrilium is just a really solid card. It's probably the best Metalfoes card in the extra deck, besides the other card we're going to get to, which is Electromite. Electromite is just very, very strong, especially in this deck where you can just Mithrilium, shuffle back the Electromite, and then use the Electromite again. So, like, in this build, you don't really have, 1 copy of Electromite. You have unlimited amount of Electromites because of Mithrilium being a card. So, that is really nice. We play 1 Vortex Dragon because we do play Absolute Dragon, and we do also play, Volt Flame, and Apex is, they're level 7, so you can possibly make, if your Apex is Negator or something like that, you can probably just like overlay for something. But most of the time you're gonna overlay the 2 Volt Flames, which is pretty standard. And it's really good to get your Metalfoes in graveyard for something like Mithril. So it's really nice. And then we play 1 Giant Hand. It's really good as Rank for a Negate. So pretty good. And then we play Absolute Dragon just for Vortex. And then we play Dark Rebellion Supreme King Dragon. And this card is just really nice because it's just a good card to OTK your opponent. I probably could play Borrelsword, but Borrelsword just takes too much monsters, and it has to use effect monsters, which all of your Metalfoes are just not effect monsters besides the Bismugear, so you don't really want to play stuff like Borreload, but, if I'd say you can try it out, but I just like Dark Rebellion much more better because, I have Curtain Raiser and Wild Hope, and just Wild Hope pop the, Wild Hope with, like, the Metalfoes, and then you get the Curtain Raiser. There you go. You have 2, like, dark monsters in your hand or in the extra deck to, make that card. Then we play 1 Tornado Dragon just for the back row decks. Totem Bird? Why did I have Totem Bird? Actually, Totem Bird was in here because I did have the Magispector engine, but you could probably just put in Borrelsword. Borrelsword's not that bad, but yeah, Borrelsword's just really, really nice. You just play it, OTK your opponent, it's just there for that. And then we play, for our Link monsters, we play Decode just for a generic Link 3. Do a little Chimera because all your Metalfoes are fire. Electromite, this is obvious in any Pendulum deck. Sorry, just Skull Dread, it's just a generic Link 4 that you can make after making something like Summon Sword, which is actually really good in this deck because Metalfoes, Electromite is, psychic as well as all of your other Metalfoes, so you can make, Summon Sword, summon Metalfoes from deck, and then you probably just link those away for, like, Skull Dread or something like that, or make a rank 4 play or rank 7 play or something like that, it's just really nice to have Summon Sword just to get monsters on board in case your monster can't attack or something like that, or you have your monster that's like effect is negated, so you can just link it away for Summon Sword. So it's just pretty nice for that. And then we play one Rewitch Apprentice just for the Baboon and the Boral Sword Dragon as well. I did have Thunderbird in here because I did play the Magic Spectre engine, but you know, Boral Sword is just pretty nice for OTKing your opponent. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It was I hopefully it was, you know, pretty informative, and you know, I tried to explain everything to, you know, as well as I can. And I know this deck is not as good as the Pendulum Magician build because, you know, Pendulum Magicians are just way too broken. Harmonizing Magicians just way too good, and all of their effects just, they just have, you know, effect monsters, and you know, Metalfoes are vanilla, so they're not really as good as the Pendulum Magician deck. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I am out.